money. The next morning, my phone was factory reset. Photos, texts, gone. That day, Principal Keaton held a school assembly about respecting restricted areas. Later, Coach Harris stopped me in the hallway. Detention again. Same time. Different job. After class, I opened my locker and froze. A folded note sat on top of my books. It read, "The water takes what it wants. Don't be next." I skipped detention and biked to the public library. Their physical archives went further back than ours. Nothing on Derek Morgan. No drownings. But one odd thing stood out: the property records. The land our school was built on was purchased from Morgan Biotech Corporation in 1991. As I was leaving, an elderly librarian touched my arm gently. "You're from the high school, aren't you?" she asked softly. "Looking into that pool story?" I nodded. She glanced around, lowering her voice. "He didn't drown, dear. That boy was pushed. I was there, but it wasn't just water in that pool." Before I could ask more, another librarian called her away. That night, my house was broken into. My parents' office was trashed, drawers overturned. Nothing stolen, just searched. The next day, I got summoned to the counselor's office. A woman I'd never seen sat waiting. "I'm Dr. Morgan from the district," she said, sliding a folder toward me. "I hear you've been asking questions. We like curious students." Inside was a letter, an acceptance into Morgan Institute of Science, full scholarship. My voice trembled. "What happened to Derek Morgan?" Her smile didn't waver. "My grandfather had unusual ambitions. I thought that was the end until the dreams began. Every night, I'd find myself standing by that same pool, the air heavy with chlorine and whispers. The water rippled, reflecting faces I didn't recognize, students, teachers, even construction workers. All staring back at me like they were under the surface. One night, I saw my own reflection wave back, but my real body didn't move. I woke up soaked, my sheets reeking of chlorine. Clara called the next morning, terrified. "Someone came to my house last night. They asked if I told anyone about the photo." She swore she was leaving town. Before hanging up, she whispered, "I heard the pool isn't a pool, it's a containment site." I didn't believe her. Until I went back. The metal door was gone, sealed with new concrete. But on the floor nearby, written faintly in chalk, were the words, "It remembers." Later that week, a new announcement came over the intercom. "Attention students, the gymnasium will be closed indefinitely for renovations." That same afternoon, a moving truck marked Morgan Biotech parked behind the school. Men in suits wheeled out the scoreboard from the old pool, its screen flickering numbers that weren't scores, they looked like dates. I tried to warn Clara, but her phone went straight to voicemail. The library seemed emptier than usual, even the elderly librarian avoided my gaze. Something was changing. I began noticing subtle signs everywhere, locker doors left slightly open, water stains appearing where there shouldn't be any, strange echoes in empty hallways. Every time I passed the gym, I could hear faint splashes, almost calling my name. One evening, I returned to the gym, intent on finding answers. The stairwell had been replaced with a wall of bricks, but the floor trembled under my feet. The faint smell of chlorine lingered, stronger than ever. Then I saw it, shadows moving beneath the polished gym floor, as though the water itself had risen, just below the surface. I pressed my ear to the tiles. The sound wasn't splashing anymore, it was whispering, "Come back, it's waiting." I ran home, but sleep didn't come. Each night, the dreams grew longer and more vivid. I saw Derek Morgan being pushed, his body sinking into the dark water, his hands reaching up through the surface, never quite breaking free. Faces of students from every decade appeared, trapped beneath the pool like some underwater time capsule of fear. At school, I noticed changes too. Coach Harris avoided my gaze. Principal Keaton looked worried, glancing often at the gym doors. I realized they weren't guarding a building, they were guarding a secret that shouldn't exist. And the suited man, the scientist, kept appearing everywhere, just out of reach, watching, taking notes. One day, a water stain formed in the middle of the hallway. It spread quickly, shimmering as if alive. My curiosity overtook fear. I knelt down, and the stain rippled like liquid glass. For a brief second, I saw Derek Morgan's face, then my own reflection, and finally, a dark figure reaching toward me. I stumbled backward, hitting my locker. A folded note fell out. It read, "Curiosity has a price. Are you ready to pay it?" I didn't answer. I couldn't. That night, I packed a bag and biked to the outskirts of town, to an abandoned construction site I'd read about in Clara's father's notes. There, behind rusted fences, I found a hatch, partially buried. It was the same rusty metal door, the same stairs. Trembling, I descended. At the bottom, the pool was alive. Not water alive, but something breathing beneath the surface, glowing faintly blue. The lane ropes moved as if disturbed by invisible swimmers. The scoreboard flickered with random numbers, and a single voice echoed through the empty space. "Welcome, the water remembers everything." I didn't stay. I ran up the stairs, feeling the water reach for me, brushing my ankles like icy fingers. The door slammed behind me. The next morning, I received an envelope. Inside, a note. "Your scholarship awaits. Your curiosity is both your gift and your curse. Remember, the water takes what it wants." I realized then that curiosity had guided me to the truth, but the truth had to be handled carefully. At the Morgan Institute of Science, I finally uncovered the complete story. Derek Morgan hadn't simply drowned. The pool was part of an illegal bioresearch project, designed to preserve biological material indefinitely. Derek had fallen, or been pushed, into it, and the pool had preserved him in suspended animation. Principal Keaton, Coach Harris, and the scientists had kept the secret to prevent panic, maintain funding, and continue research safely. The whispers, the splashes, and the shadows weren't supernatural, they were echoes of the pool's unique chemistry, preserving history in a way no one understood. Derek's life had been saved, eventually, under careful scientific supervision, though he had been trapped for decades. Now, the secret was out, but controlled. I had learned the truth, witnessed the danger, and survived. The pool no longer claimed lives, and the school returned to normal, but I would never forget the eerie lessons beneath the gym floor. Curiosity had guided me, but respect had kept me alive. Some mysteries, I realized, are meant to be discovered, and some are meant to be respected. And for me, knowing the truth was enough. The pool, Derek, and the decades of secrecy had finally found closure.